Greetings, Father Joe here, coming to you from St. Patrick's Church in lovely Highland Mills, New York. Today we are celebrating Tuesday of the 8th week in Ordinary Time. We are reading from the wisdom literature, and we are given instructions on how we are to make a return to the Lord. In our first reading, we are told that the just one's offering enriches the altar. What a great thought when we come to Mass and whatever we bring with us to Mass. And I don't mean first and second collection. I mean everything in our life that we bring with us to Mass. That is an offering to the Lord, and it enriches the altar. Isn't that great? We sometimes think, gee, I just have to make sure I go to Mass because that's what Catholics do. It's like checking a box. I've got to make sure I get to Mass. But if we bring ourselves more completely, then we are enriching the altar. And our offering rises as a sweet odor before the Lord. It says the just one's sacrifice is most pleasing, nor will it ever be forgotten. If I come to Mass and I say, well, I'm just doing this out of obligation, there might be some sacrifice in that, but is it really an offering that is honoring God? Can we really say that we are doing that with a generous spirit? Are we actually making a free will offering? Are we giving of ourselves? Then the reading goes on to say that we should do this with a cheerful countenance, and pay your tithes in a spirit of joy. When I was a young priest, which needless to say was years ago, I joined a priestly fraternity, and one of the components was tithing. And I said, I'm a priest. I don't make enough money to tithe. And they said, then you don't have to give much. If you don't have a lot of money, if you're not making a lot of money, you give generously, but according to your means, which it also says in the reading. It says, give to the Most High as He has given to you, generously and according to your means. And I just didn't get that. The first year, I just said, I can't do that. The second year, when it came up, one of the older priests said, try with half a tithe. Instead of giving 10% of your income, try giving 5%. But remember, do it at the beginning of the month. Do it before the money is in your bank so that you don't miss it. And lo and behold, at the end of 6 months, I didn't die. I still had enough money for everything. And so for the second part of the year, I started giving 10%. Here's the strange thing. A year before, I thought it was impossible. At the end of that year, one, I was still alive. It was possible, but I had more money in the bank. I had more money in the bank because I started thinking about how I was spending my money. And at the end of 2 years, I started putting money aside for retirement because 10% wasn't killing me. So I started putting 10% away for my retirement. And what had happened was I stopped having uncontrolled spending. I thought, when I was going to buy something, I said, oh gosh, I don't know if I can afford that or not. I also started paying my credit cards off every Monday. If my financial affairs were in order, then I could give my life to Christ. If my financial life was out of control, then I simply couldn't give it to God. After we get that idea down with finances, well, then it's easier to see with time, talent, and treasure. The treasure part is very easy to see. I look at what's on my check at the beginning of the month. I take 10% of that, and I donate it. I give 5% to my local parish, which in this case is St. Patrick's, and then I give 5% to other charities. Over the years, not only have I been able to do that, but I've been able to go beyond. Here at St. Patrick's, we did a Renew and Rebuild fund, and I was able to give 10%, not of my donation, but I was actually able to give 10% more toward the Renew and the Rebuild fund. And it didn't kill me. I was very surprised. What years ago had seemed death and totally impossible was very doable. In our reading, our first reading, it continues, for the Lord is the one who always repays, and he will give back to you sevenfold. And I can tell you in my life, I was not happy. I was worried. I was panicked. I didn't know what I was going to do month to month because I never had enough money. And now I have joy. I have money. Last year, I decided to get a new car, and I could do it. When we give our lives to Christ, we will have enough to have what we need and to be generous to others. In our gospel today, Jesus tells us that if we have given things up, that we will receive 100 times more in this present age and in the life to come. It may not be specific money. I wish I could say, if you put $10 in the collection box, you're going to get a check for $100, but that would be a bribe. And God doesn't want us to try to bribe him. He wants us to trust him. And so let us be joyful givers. Let us help others out of the love that God has shown us. God bless you.